or just tangible like ground working things. For kind of a lack of a better explanation. But I'm going back to like when you had bought this little sink filter.
Oh my
and
gosh. You gotta bring up this.
no, but like I have a good point here. Is like there's a sink filter, right? And on one end of the sink filter is this little rubber plunger. And then above the rubber plunger is like this metal basket that catches food from your sink because we don't have a garbage disposal. There's a little plastic pick that goes through the metal like basket down into the rubber stopper, and it holds it all together. And the problem that we were looking at was like we didn't want the sink to not drain. We just didn't want the food to go down the drain. But the stopper was stopping the sink from draining, and it defeated like the whole point of why Evan got the basket. The problem is that you can just pull the plastic pick out and pull the rubber stopper off, and then put the rubber stopper and the pick back together and just put the metal basket in the drain. But he didn't even think of it because for him it was just like that's just what it does. But for me, because I'm like I work with so many like just like average things like engines, it's like just pull it apart. But like you're looking at like the actual literal concept of it, and I'm just looking at the mechanical aspect of it.
I mean, that's the reason I even brought that up to you, like that we focused on the different things originally, is because of this book that was talking about how our prior experiences lead to how we interpret the world.
Yeah. And so like to bring this all back to Jordan Peterson, like he himself describes where like our brains diverge, right? I'm looking at the like, can I take this apart? How does this thing literally work? And you're looking at like, what does this do and how is it affecting me? Which are ultimately very different trains of thoughts because like it makes us see and use things differently. And that's exactly what he's doing here. Is he's looking at something very differently, and I think he's just like jumping straight over this concept where we're like, well, why aren't you just Christian? Why don't you just believe in a religion at least? Because you're talking about the importance, and he just hasn't even considered it because it's not that he's beyond it, but he's just like, why is he considering that? He's not talking about that.
What he's doing, I actually talked about this with Scott. What he's doing is he's making a deductive argument. One example of a deductive argument, a very simple one, would be all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. See how that follows?
I see how that follows, but I don't understand like.
Well, yeah, I just want to make sure you understand.
Yes, Socrates is a man. You're right. Yes, I wasn't.
Right. Okay.
Who argued against that?
No one.
No one. Okay.
But so that's just how a deductive argument works. You take these two claims, these two truth claims, and given both of them, then this other thing.
Yeah. Okay. I remember doing that my freshman year of high school, my sophomore math class.
Okay. Well, so, one issue that can happen, and I got flashbacks to my philosophy class when I was at a different college, but one thing you have to look out for is if one of those first claims was incorrect. So let's change mortal to immortal. All men are immortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, Socrates is immortal.
Right.
That's logically coherent, but it's incorrect.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here with his. Is he has this argument, and we're kind of going through and saying like, okay, so if Rahab was actually someone that was slain by God to create the world, your argument makes total sense. Definitely. Except that initial claim that you're using is incorrect, which has to make the conclusion correct.
Yeah.
Even though it's logically coherent.
Yeah, I mean, it totally is, like, it totally tracks with everything else he's saying. It just falls apart where he got the part of, like, reading the Bible wrong. Just, that's all. The foundational of, like, the Bible.
But if you grew up not Christian...
it would just make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because but even if you just read the Bible, even if you didn't, like, infer anything from it and, like, look deeper into it like you're supposed to, you would probably be like, oh, man, he's kind of right. Like, man,
right.
Why didn't I think of this? Well, there's a reason you didn't think of it. It's because it's wrong.
And even more importantly, it's also dangerous for Christians. If they read this and they don't see, like, not the traps, but, like, the
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 errors.
missteps.
Yeah.
If they don't see them, then they could get convinced
Yeah.
of it.
Well, and it's funny because like ultimately Jordan Peterson isn't saying, "Oh, religion sucks." He's saying this is really important and foundational to like the success of humanity.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
like,
just-
all these things seem to really help, and I want to figure out why they helped.
And then goes, "I'm not religious though. What's up?"
Right. And
That's what kills me.
why he's not, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe he is now. This was 1999.
I pray to God right now on this podcast that Jordan Peterson finds his way to God.
That'd be cool.
Amen.
Um,
And then we can talk about this with him, and it'll be like a good laugh. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down below. And if you liked the video, give us a like. If you really liked it, you could even go subscribe to our channel. And if you didn't understand the video, don't worry, I didn't either. There's a link to the full video down in the description below. Thanks for watching.